Hello guys, after a few longer videos after I'm back from vacation, let's make a bit shorter one, hopefully, and I want to demonstrate one package, one project actually, called Chatwire by Theodoros Kafantaris here. So he created Chatwire, the repository is public, using OpenAI API to ask for something with this. And I decided to make a demo, but not because of AI. I want to discuss the structure of models and services. This topic comes up really often, and I had a few videos pretty recently about that, but the best way to learn is on practical real-life example. So let's see what would I advise to the author to make it a bit better. So here's how it looks, and it's based on Livewire on top of Laravel Breeze. So you click chat box, then initial system instruction, and then you type in your prompt to the API. I wouldn't demonstrate that because I haven't set up my own API keys. That's not the point. The point is that after that form is filled, in the blade file of Livewire, there's wire submit prevent ask. So ask is the method that is called to ask for API. And even if you're not familiar with Livewire, keep watching because this video is not about Livewire. If you want to understand how that works, I have a special course for Livewire for beginners, and I will link that in the description below. What I want to discuss is this part. So if we have a message, then we ask the chat box and return the message. But this part, in my opinion, can be refactored or improved. First, the naming of the thing, models chat box, what that is. If we hover it over, it's a model, it's an Eloquent Model chat box. And why it is called models chat box, if we scroll to the top, this is the definition. So we have a model, but we need to rename it because the same name is assigned already to the component of Livewire. So it's okay to do that, but in my opinion, that would be a better naming. So if you name some class as purpose, so something middleware, something job, something service, model as well should be as a suffix, not as a prefix. But let's return it to the original state, and let's return to this, and let's see what's inside of that ask. It's a static method in that model, so we need to click a few times here. Actually click here to land in the model, and in here we have a few functions including ask. So this is what actually is happening inside of the model. And I want to discuss the separation of concerns and solid patterns in terms of single responsibility. So model, in my opinion, and in my experience, Eloquent Model is related to a database table and configures the structure and relationships on top of that. In this case, model is used with the table as Eloquent Model, but also has quite a few extra functions. So available models, and that word model is also not clear. It's actually a model of algorithm of GPT, so that should be renamed something like available GPT models or something like that. Then available roles. Let's see what that returns. We have the CSV of awesome ChatGPT prompts. So act as who? Act as Linux terminal, as English translator, as JavaScript console and stuff like that. That's a cool feature of OpenAI API and ChatGPT in general. So you need to know those names, and you can kind of dress as someone, act as someone. So available roles, but what is a role? Also it is unclear, so I would work on the naming. And then there's a static function ask that returns the response. And then where are those functions called? Available roles and available models. They are both static, and they are called in the Livewire component, which can act as a controller. So in the render method, which basically returns the view, these are called as parameters to Livewire blade. So what am I getting to? That these three functions, available models, available rows, and ask, it's not model functions. Model is about database table of chat boxes, and even that I would rename from chat boxes. It's not chat box. We're saving the prompts or askings or whatever you call it in English language. So I would rename that model to be saved, like the conversations you can call them. And these three should be in some kind of service, some kind of class or action class. These could be in the config at all because they are static. These ones could be set maybe in the service provider somewhere or in a service method. And that service I would call OpenAI service or something like that. And guess what? The author agrees with me. Not sure if you've noticed, but this is already here in the mount method, in the kind of construct method of Livewire component. There is OpenAI service, which repeats the same thing. Available models, available roles, and ask. And then there's OpenAI client from the package. And by the way, from this repository, you can take a look at the source. The link will be in the description below. You can also take a look how to use OpenAI API. But that's not the topic here. The topic is this. So we have OpenAI service. We just need to change in the render, instead of model chat box, we could have this OpenAI service available models. Similar thing here, instead of model chat box, like this. And then in the actual ask function, we call, instead of models chat box, same thing, ask. And you would think this is a minor change. Who cares if it's in model or in service? But you would care if the project grows up, if the model grows with more properties, relationships, and mutators. And also, if you want to change that service of OpenAI service, you maybe even call that AI service in general. Maybe you would find a different provider of AI API and you want to change that, or choose one of two services, or maybe for testing you would mock that with some kind of dummy service. So according to separation of concerns, the model is not responsible for such actions like asking external API for something. So yeah, this is just a small example. Ironically, as I said, the author agreed with me that it should be in the service. They just didn't change that in the controller itself, in the Livewire component. What do you think? Anything you would add, or maybe anything I've missed here? Let's discuss in the comments below. And see you guys in other videos.